Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Inside Poland's Royal Masterpiece, exploring stunning Wilanów Palace in Warsaw. It's a castle the same as a palace. I would assume palace is where the monarchy and the royalty lived, but I am going to assume it's a castle, and it says Royal Masterpiece, so I'm expecting something very grand. So let's check it out and comment, like and subscribe.
Welcome to the summer house of Jan Sobieski.
The guy that defeated the Ottomans in Vienna in 1683 and then thought, let's flex all my power all over Europe, and built palaces just like this. Wilanów Palace.
Already the doors are huge. Oh, what a beautiful garden. Oh, it looks more modern than I was expecting. I don't know, I just expected something a little bit older and antique looking. It's very huge. Big, but kind of modern to the core, at least. They have 10 gardens.
Is the Chinese rooms, which started when King Yan had a Chinese collection cabinet that all of the stuff from Asia he'd collected was displayed in. The collection has vastly been improved by all the owners of the palace over time, and there's a huge collection now spreading out over this floor.
In the 1700s, Europe was obsessed with China. All of the aristocrats would fill their palaces with dragons, pagodas, lots of exotic flowers on porcelain and silk, and Wilanów Palace is no exception. And this sums up what the craze was all about.
They like the dragons, they like the, I don't know, they like the painting, the sculptures. This is gonna be so incredibly old. Oh, they have figurines. Is that marble? It's so funny how just everyone kept adding on. You sure, I'll add it as a museum, except I live here. All those spaces are gorgeous.
The China room is the hunting room. This was Jan Sobieski's passion. It's very masculine in here, quite dark compared to the other room.
I'm scared. Dead animals?
It has lots of images on the wall, mid-hunt, with animals, i.e. the dogs, what they have slaughtered.
Oh, the dogs are hunting.
There's also some cannons and guns. Now, this was a real place of notability because this didn't just show off what he could do. If you were a keen hunter and a good one, then it was real propaganda to what sort of ruler you are. And Jan Sobieski, no different to many other rulers in that he wanted to show off. In this corner of Wilanów Palace is the apartments for Princess Izabela Lubomirska, who was also known as the Blue Marquis because she loved dressing in blue.
Oh,
now, she was one of the most wealthy women in all of the Poland-Lithuania Commonwealth. Now, this was what was known as that salon area where they could gossip.
Surprised the room isn't painted blue. She loved blue so much.
Bring in nobles and aristocrats over to talk about politics, their wealth, any sort of gossip they can think of. And compared to the other rooms such as the China room or the hunting room, this is very light, it's airy, but also painted in the pastels. The grand architecture as well shows off that wealth that she had.
It's less opulent, but I think it's just, it looks more, well, not feminine, not neutral, because it's not so brown and dark as in the hunting room, which I think looks more masculine. Oh, I love the little green, I don't know what was that, but I don't know, I love the little nook. They have so many paintings. Is that a piano? Oh, okay, then, yeah, sure, we're putting a piano, I guess. Well, not to guess. The royals over there. Oh my god, that's a huge chandelier.
This is the White Hall. Now imagine coming in here in the 18th century. The windows open with all the light coming through.
Oh, I want them to open it.
Floorboard with nobles dancing like chess pieces.
I think it's kind of crazy that they haven't sort of opened the windows because I want to look at it in the whole sort of splendor of it all.
The chandelier glistening, musicians playing, artwork on the wall such as Jan Sobieski. This really was a place where nobles and aristocracy lived, a real sign of the power of the times.
I think it's just a very huge room, and I think that already tells you how rich I think the family was, because I think people lived in sort of cramped spaces back in those days.
In 1693, to commemorate the 10th anniversary of his victory at the battle in Vienna, This equestrian statue of King Yan was produced to show his power as a ruler in the area at the time.
It's crazy that that's inside it. How much space would you need? Oh, what a beautiful, the views are gorgeous. What? Those things on the wall. I think those Chinese sculptures, that's crazy. I'm guessing that's gold. See, that's wallpaper. I'm loving this wallpaper.
We are now in
Oh, it's a little house!
Did store thousands of books when King Yan was in reign, but towards the end of his life, all his books were moved to his permanent residence. And since, this area has had several different purposes, including a chapel. However, interestingly, this is one of the areas of the palace that suffered damage during the war, and a decision had to be made what to turn this into and to restore it. They decided to make a hybrid decision to keep the chapel and to use this room on show for many of the portraits.
It's sort of a hallway, I think. Oh, is this al fresco? The roofs are gorgeous. Is that a bed? It's so tiny. It's so opulent. It's just, again, it's a palace. Well, what is it? I'm not expecting any less, but it's so crazy to look at. I'm surprised like the beds. They're kind of small though for a palace. The things are just so big.
Interestingly, they didn't know this was here until 1955. There used to be a wooden staircase here that led up to the first floor, and when they were redoing the staircase, they found these frescoes hidden behind. What an amazing find to find these just tucked behind.
Yeah, but it's crazy, the idea of this thing being so huge. You hadn't even realized this was there up until, what, 60 years ago? Oh, I'm loving this hallway.
Wilanów Palace actually shows off quite a few exhibitions throughout the years. This one is called Empty Frame.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, he's going to explain it.
As you can see, there is no artwork.
Yeah,
Now,
right.
during World War II, most of this palace was left untouched, unlike the rest of Warsaw.
But it was stolen.
There was a lot of pillaging, stolen artwork that is not here anymore, and people do not know the whereabouts. There is also a whole museum up here, so make sure you check it out. There's lots of artifacts, maces, artwork, statues. We're not going to show you all of that because otherwise, what's the point of you coming? So you come, check this out. Now we're going to go outside.
The gardens at Wilanów Palace are a gem in their own right. Right outside the palace, you've got the Baroque style gardens with the straight lines, strict hedges, and the statues staring each other down.
I'd never heard of that term in my life. Oh, there's so much. There's just so many bushes. There's so many flowers, trees. I can't even imagine how much it takes to maintain this. It's gonna be wild how many people work here. You can just spend the whole afternoon, even the whole day, just walking around the gardens. And that's not even seeing the palace. It's just beautiful. Oh, I love the outside. And they have two portraits. They have his and her portraits. Oh, it's little angels. I thought it was Aladdin.
But walk slightly further out and it's more of an English style with the winding trees, the looser feel, more like a park, and
it's true, it looks like
a
a park with
lovely
a lake.
where people can enjoy even a little bit of kayaking going on.
Oh, you can kayak now? I mean now, probably not back in those days. Oh, I'm loving this. This is my favorite part. I love all those
Obviously,
little
these
statues
Roman gods,
sort of hidden.
Greek gods, and heroic figures are scattered all the way through these gardens. Now, they're not just decorations. These are for when visitors would come to these parks and then see that Jan Sobieski was a well-cultured, God-favoured ruler.
Oh, I get it now. I think that's actually quite clever. Yeah, you're seeing, oh, he's blessed by the gods, or he's very cultured and he knows what those cultures mean because he knows about the gods and stuff. Oh, they have a shape.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed just as much as we have going around Wilanów Palace. This has been a place which has pretty much stayed intact since the war.
The gardens here are absolutely beautiful, honestly. Like, the whole place is stunning.
No, the buildings inside was beautiful.
Is insane. But the gardens, considering we're right at the end of September, we're coming out of summer into autumn, still beautiful. The amount of flowers still in bloom here.
yeah.
Just wandering around. We are lucky. We are in a 31-degree day. So it is lovely and warm and sunny, which probably helps, but it's so beautiful to look around.
It is gorgeous. Now, thank you so much for watching. Please do hit that like button and subscribe. All the socials are down there, and we will catch you on the next one.
Bye.
I want to go. It's funny that they mentioned, I'm not going to show you everything, because then what will be the point? Of course, I have to give you a little sneak peek, and then of course you want to go. I absolutely want to go. I think it's gorgeous. How is it called? I can't even remember the name. It's Wilanów. I think it's Jan Sobieski. I think it was the name of the guy, the king. He beat the Ottomans, I think it was. So I'm gonna call him the king of Poland, a king of Poland. I'm gonna guess obviously Poland had tons of kings throughout the years, but I love how I think it was the craziest part about this thing to me is that apparently it stayed mostly untouched by the wars. I'm gonna guess all wars, because if it was built, I think they mentioned 1600, 1700. From it's been a lot of years, and the fact that the structure and most of it apparently it has it survived the test of time. That's wild even out of itself, especially I guess it's just, I'm gonna say for a European country, but I think even then it's just so many things that can happen that is just wild. And no, the thing was not damaged, except of course for the paintings that they stole. I think it's a little sad. That makes me really sad, actually. The fact that they don't even know what paintings were stolen. Because I guess back in those days, people, maybe, I'm trying to think, wouldn't you have sort of a list of the collection of artwork that's located in this palace or in this museum? But I guess, of course, back in that time period, it wasn't a museum. It was probably just a palace. And I don't think probably it had occurred to them to actually list everything as we are as a list. I guess, all museums have this as we have this sculpture by this author and this whatever. So it saddens me to know that, they don't even know what it was. So it's kind of, I guess that makes it unlikely, I think, to ever for those paintings to actually reappear in 20 years from now, 10 years from now, because I know that that's the thing. Sometimes people, all of those artworks and even jewelry, I think, that was stolen during World War II and stuff, I think they have recovered certain pieces, but because they have to know what was stolen in the first place, and then they sort of, they appeared, I don't know, again, 50 years later, somehow in another different country, and it's sort of, we recovered this. But, you have to know what was in it. So it makes me so sad to know that we're never going to know. I think on one hand, I love the idea, to begin with, I love the idea of them sort of leaving the frames empty, because I think it's a good reminder. I think it's just a very stark thing, but the minute that I mentioned it is, what's up with that? It's gotta be weird. But I love the significance of it all, and they never, because I think sometimes you can tell people, and you can, because it's a museum, you can tell people, there were several artworks that were stolen during the war, and we don't really know what they were and stuff, or whatever. You're just gonna tell them, paintings were stolen, or sculptures were stolen. However, I love the idea of them actually leaving the reminder, because the empty frames are just quite shocking, I think, to the visual, to the naked eye, are just very, wait, what is that? How come they're just empty frames? So I love the reminder. It's really stark, but I really do think that's the point. It's gotta be quite alarming to you, sort of, wait, what? Why do you have certain frames and they don't have anything? And I like that. It's because, again, it's a constant reminder of what was lost, and I love it. I gotta believe, of course, they did it on purpose, but it's more, I think, shocking and more impactful. And I think it leaves a better imprint if you have it like this, instead of just telling people, this artwork was stolen. So I love that little touch. I think that was probably, as for touches, not as an obviously artwork or just beautiful things in this palace. I think that was my favorite part about the palace itself. As for my other, I think, favorite parts, I love the Chinese room, the Asian room. I think that was stunning. They had so many incredible vases, so many little sculptures. I think it's kind of crazy. I would love to know how that apparently it was very not just in Poland, probably all throughout Europe, to sort of bring things from China. I don't know. Well, maybe they didn't bring them. Maybe they just bought it. Although I don't really know how they're going to buy it. Do they have a catalog? As in, they don't have the internet. They're not going to get into a store and go, oh yeah, I'm buying this. Add it to the cart. It wasn't like this. So I would love to know specifically how they were buying it, or maybe they were actually going physically. They were going to China and just buying stuff. But I don't know why. I think maybe it was, I can guess why. Maybe it's because it was very, I think, a culture that's so incredibly different from what that's probably going to be, again, more exotic, and you want to collect a lot of things from that place because it's just very different. I think even the artwork, and you can see how different the artwork actually is compared to all the statues that they have and all the paintings that they have already. So of course it's going to be a little exotic, and just as well, probably in China, they were doing the same thing with the European things. I said, oh, it's very exotic. It's very, again, it's a weird concept to us just because we're not used to that type of art. So I love that part. Then I think beyond that, I really do I think my favorite part were probably the roofs themselves. I think it's just the idea, I think, of having a roof just painted in this beautiful artwork, because they either were painting as in they were actual paintings that represent certain things, or they were just very ornate with some, I don't know, with decorations and stuff. I think the idea, I don't really think you can get that. Yeah, probably in houses these days. I mean, you can get some nice roofing, but I don't know. It's not the roof, it's the ceiling. But those ceilings, I don't think they're less common, I think, in this day and age. I'm going to paint my ceiling in some sort of art form, or I'm going to have something that's really gorgeous sort of painting, in my ceiling. I think houses these days are just less, I seldom see stuff like this. And obviously not in this capacity, as in this ginormous thing, this alfresco painting that's going through the whole hallway. No, of course not. That doesn't really happen. It happens here because it's a palace, a literal palace. That it doesn't happen, I think, in real life, in your average suburban home. That's not really a thing. So I absolutely love that. I'm going to assume as well that's part of the whole, being a palace thing and not being an old-timey thing, because I was thinking, I think peasants and stuff, I don't know if they were maybe peasants, right? I know the plebs, normal people back in those days, they didn't really have, obviously they're not painting their ceilings because A, they didn't have money to commission someone to go and paint this, and B, they didn't have the space, because obviously they weren't living, they were probably living very cramped in smaller cabins. And I think probably the amount, I think, of how, well, not, again, this palace, because it has so many rooms, I think that's obviously a symbol of status, because you have so many sort of spaces to roam, and you have a room dedicated to your hunting, a room dedicated to discussing, the drawing room. It's okay, sure, because we're drawing people, I'm drawing them, and what we call a sitting room or a living room these days, as in, we're discussing here, but if we want tea, we have to go to the other room. I think obviously that was a symbol of status and wealth, just because you have just a lot of space. And normal people obviously didn't have that much space. So it's just crazy to me how big everything is. And that's just the little peek they showed us with just a few rooms. I don't even want to know how many rooms this palace has. And of course, my other favorite part was the little alfresco painting that apparently they found by accident, because I think it tells you, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe it will happen, maybe it won't, but maybe in the future when they do some remodeling, or I don't know, some other thing that they're gonna do in this palace, maybe in the future, maybe there's other things that they're gonna be able to find as a surprise of, we didn't know this was here. I think it's just crazy to me, the whole thing of being so big but not being documented, that there's certain spaces that you found 300 years later. Oh my, this is here. Again, it's just mind-blowing to me, that concept. But I guess, again, maybe back in those days it was quite common because no one was documenting anything. No one was thinking long-term, in the future, 200 years from now, people are going to be able to find this. But you have those little treasures that you're able to find, and hopefully maybe in the future they will. But yes, I would love to visit this place, even just for the gardens. I think the gardens themselves are worth the visit, even if that's not taking into account the whole incredible museum of pieces that they have inside. So absolutely worth the visit. That was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!